Hey, my name's Kelly Camp, and I am part-time retired. I'm a mom and a wife, and a nurse practitioner. And if you've been to my YouTube site, you see a lot of educational videos for my students that I teach part-time at Arkansas State University, Mountain Home. I'm an adjunct instructor. So I've been making videos for a while. During COVID, I got quite a bit of experience doing it. So I thought, why not implement me and my husband's travels during our bucket list years, our 10 years of traveling. So our first one we did was the British Virgin Islands. And I know I spelled Mike's bucket list wrong. It's okay. It was really more his trip than mine, but I had fun and I really learned a lot. And this trip has prepared me for my next trip I'm going to take. Me and my husband and daughter are going to Croatia, and we're doing a similar trip. And so if you're like me, I like a lot of information, I like a lot of research. I have a better vacation that way. So this was a great vacation, but it was more of a learning experience for me. So I hope this helps you maybe think about going to the British Virgin Islands. So first of all, our friend booked it. Luckily, my friend Brad, he used a company called BVI Bookings, and it is a charter in Tortola. We rented a Lagoon 50 catamaran. It was beautiful. We got 5% off because we booked early, and they basically pay for half, and then you pay for the other half a month before the trip. So here are the numbers if you're interested in maybe using this same company. Um, and then I did my own airfare that I'll talk about briefly, and I'll talk about the provisions, but this is a reference page that we'll come back to at the end as well. So before we get to all the pros, which you can look at it, not oppose that, I do want to pause and bring up some pictures. So one thing I learned too about going on my trips now is I have an iPhone like so many of us do, and when I took my pictures, I put them under the album BVI 24. So I have all my videos and all my pictures here that I can pull up on my Mac, and it just makes life a lot easier. So I really recommend you doing that before you start your trip, and then you have all your pictures that are neatly placed in this little album. So here Mike and I are on the airplane, and this is just a beautiful view of the cloud line. Here we are, we're getting close, we're landing. So we basically, on our trip, went from Atlanta down to St. Thomas is where we landed. And from there we had to get a taxi and go to the water taxi. Now, I like to mention this part because even though I did a lot of research, this part was a little frustrating. So they told us we had to be at the water taxi 45 minutes before our trip. I planned a no later than 3:30 arrival time on my airplane so that I could have a good solid hour to get to the water taxi. You know, getting the taxi wasn't hard. There we are waiting for our taxi, and it was only about 15 minutes away by van. And we got to the water taxi in plenty of time, 45 minutes. But once we got on the water taxi, it was a solid hour and a half trip, which they told us was only about an hour. So we were supposed to be at the boat at 5, so we did not really allow for enough time. So my long story short for you is, if you land in St. Thomas, heck, if you land in Tortola, give yourself enough time. We had to be at 5 o'clock for our training on the boat, and we were late. Now, luckily, everybody was on island time, and they were pretty laid back about it. This is the boat, and we went to the marina. Let me just tell you a little quick thing about the marina. They're nice. Of course, you pay for the mooring fee. A mooring is more of a ball, but you pay for the marina/mooring fee. And on the marinas, mooring balls in the middle of the water, but on the marinas, you have washer and dryer, you have snorkeling equipment, you have clean bathrooms with a shower. And so that's where we stayed the night, and that's where you'll stay your first night. You don't leave the dock until 8 o'clock in the morning. Other options you pay for that you can get, you definitely probably need a skipper. So we had a skipper. We did not have a hostess, and so therefore I had provisions ahead of time. So I'm going to go back to another. Okay, so I got my provisions at a place called Right Way, and oops, this always happens to me. Hold on just a second. I told you I'm not very good at this. And if you click on Right Way, let's see what happens. It's a little hyperlink. You should be able to click on it. about 500 times. It's going to take you to a place where you can order food. And what's phenomenal about this is, you know, I ordered $278 worth of food, which is quite a bit, I think. That included tons of water. I even got some alcohol. As you can see, there's Grey Goose. $278, and that was for 7 days, and I was very thoughtful when I ordered this stuff. I got breakfast food. I did have to get me a log on and sign on. I don't know if I could still get on there or not, but yeah, I think I could still get on there and order. I used my email and I had my password. And so $278, I won't get into major specifics. They even sent me a PDF I could download and take with me. And when I tell them my address, I'll tell them when I'm going to be on the boat. They had everything there in a refrigerator. So it's really nice because it was for me, it was just an easy way to get things I needed. Even though everybody kind of laughed at me, they were very grateful because I had, again, water, I had alcohol, I had breakfast with milk, I had some fruits and vegetables, I had some lunch meat and cheeses, I had bread. I had everything you would need if you got snacky, and for $278, it was not bad. It was delivered right there and put in my refrigerator waiting on me. So it was a really great thing. And again, the PDF went straight to my phone, and then when I got in, I could check on that. So this is something I really recommend you doing. You do have to give them the address. Before the trip, you'll have the address of your boat, and you'll know. You also definitely want to get water, things that came with my boat. That's kind of important. So let's just go next to the pros here. If I can get my... it was a beautiful 42-foot catamaran. It had 4 bedrooms, it had 3 baths, it had a full galley and kitchen, it had a full-size fridge, a stove, oven, microwave, all the utensils, including a coffee pot, and even some cleaner. So it had a large table, it had a couch, and a gas grill outside. So, ladies, if you're thinking like I am, what did it come with? It came with 1 roll of toilet paper per each bathroom. It came with 1 roll of paper towels, a cleaning rag, cleaner. So what I had to think about was other things. And of course I called ahead, but I had to have other things. They did give you like a little trial size thing of coffee that would have only lasted like 1 time. So I had to have coffee. I had to order filters. I'm just going through my day real quick. I had to have dishwashing soap. I went ahead and bought some plastic cups for our beer and our mixed drinks. Ice. I had to order ice. So you'll have to order ice at different times. I got 2 bags of ice for the freezer, and I got 2 bags of ice for the cooler because it came with a white Yeti cooler. So when you're planning this trip, write out what you particularly would need to eat on a week basis. If you have kids, you're really in trouble. Luckily, it was just me and my husband and another older couple. But you're going to have to, and you can buy this stuff along the way. But for me to be happy, I liked having the snacks and things. The front area is very spacious. It had cushions and not mesh. So if we go back to that picture I showed you in a minute, you'll see that it had actual cushions that wasn't mesh. It had a captain, and we had to add a tip. And I think we ended up giving a 20% gratuity. So that came out to around $900. My husband's giving me the face because he said he gave more than that. I guess 900 would have been about 10% of our tip. So we did give more 900. And then you choose your path that night. We went ahead and went with the captain's preferred, which was Norman, Virgin Gorda, Anaconda, which I know I'm saying that wrong, Salty Island, maybe Salty something, and then back to Norman. It was quiet, it was peaceful, it was perfect, and we sailed some, which my husband and my good friend loved, and we snorkeled almost every day. So that was nice. The cons again is the price. So for 2 couples, it's quite expensive. You're gonna have a little nest egg if there's 2 of you sharing a boat this size. And they have smaller boats, and if you'd added plenty of room, you could have added another couple easily. You could have added 2 more couples. It's been a little cramped, but you're talking, half the cost. And then we didn't have a hostess, but when we're going to Croatia, we're going to get a hostess because like all the food that I had there, they fix it. And they also add in, 2 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and then you're on your own for supper. So that's one less thing I'll have to worry about as the provisions. Now I'm going to still give them a list of things that I like to have in my fridge, and hopefully they'll add that to the hostess. The bathrooms did start smelling after a few days, and again, the long flight was just not that desirable. All right, now I'm going to show you a video of the whole boat. Finally alone, so. And I could turn the volume off. I don't know if that's probably the best for you guys. I don't know what I'm going to say in this video. So I think I am going to turn the volume off and just enjoy this video for a minute. Oh, it was so pretty. Now that door right there, and I talk about it in the video, it's hard to tell, but let me just pause and explain. Go back out just a minute. This was an actual door. It was like a garage door. So when we were on a mooring ball or floating, this would come. This part would, oh darn it, would come up, and then we could have this door completely off and it opened. So it was really nice. The windows come open. It was just a really nice. We're moving at this point. You can see the Atlantic Ocean was pretty rough. It was pretty rough every day for us, actually. And it did rain a little bit every day, but nothing to make us miserable or want to turn around. Oh, the boat also comes with a dinghy that you can see back there in the back. And the dinghy is what we go to and from land with when we were ready to go to dinner or go do something fun. I thought about putting everything that we did in this video, but it'll be really long. So I'm not going to do that. At the end, I'll put a plethora of photos that kind of show you the areas. But hey, that's part of the fun, is exploring the islands and doing your own thing. I don't really have any restaurant recommendations, except for one, and that was where our captain's family owned a restaurant. So I will, talk about that briefly. It's probably the nicest part of my trip, and I'm just showing you the galley. It was, sorry about it being messy, but we just made breakfast. Everything has to go in the sink when you take off because it's quite rough, as you can imagine. This is a video of the interior of our bedroom.
Okay, so here's my room.
You can see that there's little cubbies for your stuff over here. The bed looks quite small, but my husband and I fit in it pretty well. We never hit our head or anything like that. Lots of windows, which is nice because you can open those. Now there are a lot of no-see-ums, so you have to be kind of careful and wear the bug spray and not leave the windows open all the time because those no-see-ums can get through those screens and then you're itching. But the bathroom was a nice size. I used the shower about every 2 days when I really felt really grimy. For the most part, I showered mainly at the docks because the dock bathrooms were a little nicer. So remember that you do also have the docks to stay at. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second. Okay.